Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's Swissman15 back with another episode. This one's a little different than most, a little special that I've come up with. It's going to be a player analysis. I'm going to go through 10 players, including myself, that I know relatively well and that I consider one of the better players around in the Medieval 2 Total War community. Yes, this is Medieval 2 Total War, probably. That should have been obvious. I don't know if you're the one person who just watches Minecraft with me. I don't know. Anyway, it's just going to be me discussing the strengths, weaknesses, and different little characteristics of each player on the community. I'm doing 10, including myself. I don't know if I mentioned that. And I just want to get that out there, is that, first thing, if you're one of the 10, and I put a weakness and that insults you, it's not meant to insult you. This is all just my insight, my guesses, what I perceive as you. I'm not trying to insult you in any way. I have your strengths down too. And anyone who's here is definitely good players, so do not think that I do not think that I think that you're not a good player from your weaknesses or anything, because you all are. It's just that it's a little interesting for everyone else, apparently. If you see them out there, you can, oh, this is what they do. Maybe you can anticipate. So I'm just pretty much making it harder for all of us, so you can thank me later. And if you, for some reason, want to be one of the players that I analyzed, and I didn't, it's not that I don't care for you or something. Like I have a bunch of friends that I didn't put on this because I don't know enough about them to put on here, and also I can't spend 1,000 years listing every player. So if I can't list you, then I apologize dearly if you wanted that. But why don't we just go to the first one, which is myself. So we have common factions for me: Holy Roman Empire, Spain, Sicily, and Hungary. I think we all knew this. Just getting a drink. Seltzer. It's good for the soul. Okay, so my strengths that I so humbly tried to choose without sounding arrogant is just cavalry charges that I do according to, like, Apollo. Apparently there's this whole move called the Swissman now or something. Or at least it was referred to about one person one time. So I think that can be counted as an entire worldwide thing. And rushes, because I think I've gotten good at rushes somehow between now and the past 2 months, because it worked for me during the tournament. So apparently now I'm good at rushes. Yay! I don't know why, but I am. So yeah, but I like to rush. It's a nice element of surprise. And I feel like rushes are more powerful with lower monies, definitely. I think the higher the money, the less powerful the rush. That is definitely my theory that I'm going to let you in. But back to cav charges. I do like cav charges, and if you notice from above, the common factions are all cav factions. Holy Roman Empire, the Teutonic and Imperial Knights, Spain, Chivalric Knights, Sicily, Chivalric Knights, and Hungary, Royal Bandrium. They're all good. Hussars, you know. And I like to use them, get my flanks and jobs, and sometimes when they don't have any pikes, just send them all in, right into the infantry, because why not? And my weaknesses, definitely light cav. It completely messes me up. Stratiots is one, but those are broken. But Alan light cav, if you can use them well against me, or just simply like mounted surgeons, I am slow to react to those guys. They throw me off my game, to say the least. It's like psychological. I get intimidated by light cav. I'm like, oh god, they're going to do something tricky. They're going to ruin my life. And then also, I think you all know this if you watch my Holy Roman Empire series, I am very, very careless with my general. So if you're fighting me and you notice that my general's not quite in the best position, you can probably kill him. And if you kill him, you definitely will get an advantage in our fight. So those are my weaknesses, so I'm ready to die 1,000 times after this game. And to the next person, Captain Invisible, my good friend. My friend indeed he is. Ooh, I'm out of drink already. This is bad. Captain Invisible, let's see. Common factions, pretty much is Hungary, England. He plays a lot of them, but those are his main two. Strength, he's unpredictable and well-rounded, which I will explain. Unpredictable in the fact is that he likes to try random things. He just likes to have fun, and sometimes they're just deadly effective and sometimes not so much. So I like to put that straight down for him. You're never going to get a consistent game against him. He'll do whatever pleases his little whim and his Quetzalcoatl? I don't know how to say that. It's his god, quotation marks, god, quotation, air quotations. But yeah, you will never get a consistent game. He does what he does, and he does everything. And anything that makes it good. And we'll laugh about it later, certainly enough. And well-rounded in the fact that I don't think he excels. Well, he excels. Let's not take this out of the wrong way, but he's like really well-rounded. He's good at sieges, he's good at other things, but he's not exquisite. He's not like creme de la creme at everything, but he's good. He is sufficient in everything, and that is a very strong characteristic, and he's able to utilize it, I would say. Weaknesses, he tends to be distracted by rocks on the battlefield, and then he's like starts to stroke them. It's really weird, so if you're fighting him near a rock, he might start stroking with his mouse and not pay attention to battle. If you watch the Native American battle that we did, or America's expansion battle that we did, then you know that he does that. And that was just a joke. But weaknesses overall is that I feel I didn't really pin any weaknesses on him. He's flawless. No, he's not flawless. It's just I can't think of them. I think maybe his unpredictability can also work as a weakness because he doesn't even know himself what's happening sometimes. Note sometimes. So that's a loud motor. How close are you, Jesus? Anyway, that's what I have for Captain. He's a good friend. Enjoy your rocks, Captain. Next guy, SpartanQwop. I was hoping he could do this with me, but he's not online, and I didn't want to wait any longer, so sorry, Spartan. Common factions, Moors, Hungary, and Portugal, namely the Moors. He, for some reason, really likes them, and I don't know why, because I hate them. I hate them with a burning passion, because they would be good if the Christian Guard could get armor upgrades. They'd be a lot better, and if Christian Guard didn't cost $970 for what they have, they're not that good. Strengths. He is pretty good with cav movements like his Moors. He likes the fast Christian Guard, and he makes pretty fast cav movements. In the tournament, he used Stratiots and stuff, and he got them at me. Especially that one sneaky little charge he got through with some Knights Hospitality unit, which completely eradicated some of my infantry. So he's good with those little slick movements of cav going. Little surprise cav, I would say. Surprise efforts from the Quopnators. Or just Quop. Just the one Quop. And, weakness, I would say he's a tad inflexible. I feel like he likes how he plays and he doesn't change it up much. Well, as much as you would say Captain, who would do anything and everything. And I think that could be a little bit of a disadvantage. If you know what Spartan's going to do, you can anticipate how to beat him. And that is the only weakness I have for SpartanQwop, because he's a very good player too. They're all very good players. I don't want to offend anyone. Don't hate me, please. Pixelated Apollo, our favorite YouTuber of all time, which everyone knows, or at least 800-ish people. 900 now? I don't know. Anyway, his common factions, well, they're everything. But he pretty much loves the Watermelons and the Boys in Purple, otherwise known as Hungary and the Byzantines, because they're cool factions, unique units, and that's what he admires, so good for him. Okay, strengths. He's probably one of the better players I know at Siege, specifically at attacking, I would say. I think he's rather adept at it, and he's probably one of his greatest strengths in this game. He likes to play Sieges all the time. They're all over his channel. A lot more than pitch battles, I would say, so it's definitely fitting for him, to say the least. And, so yeah, other than that, on pitch battles, he's well-rounded, he's pretty good. He's not any, like, who's the best pitch player I know? Gigi Dash is pretty good at pitch. So he's still good at pitch. They're all very good at pitch players, don't get me wrong, but he's particularly good at sieges, is what I'm trying to say by being true and not offending anyone at the same time. Let's not take that out of context. Okay. Weaknesses. Sometimes I think he's a little bit slow with his micro. Anytime that I battle him, I feel like for some reason I can somehow like get around him with my cav a little quicker than you would think. And I think he's just a little slower on the micro. I think he's more of a front player, not like, oh, let's do every different unit in this. I think he gets a little flustered if he tries to do that. So I think he's slower with them, which can work against him. That might have been a word cut right there. I just had to like say the last 3 words because it cut right there. I was trying to beat the timer so I could have a nice cut because I'm going to go stop and get a drink. So I'll meet you guys back with the next player in a second for you, but a couple minutes for me. So yeah, that should be fun. And I'm back with Gigi Dasha, my tournament teammate who did serve me, like he's my servant. No. Who worked with me well. I think we're a great team. To say the least, I think that's what we are. And, good for us, because we won, so anyway, his common factions, I would say Spain and Portugal, the Iberian Peninsula, pretty much, besides the Moors, because he likes his conquistadors, and, he likes them. They're very solid, and I can't blame him. I would wish he would choose a little bit more other than that. I mean, that's my one complaint with the poor man. Okay, strength. Okay, slippery cavalry, I'm going to explain that in a second, and go to micro. They're kind of hand in hand, those two. He somehow always gets his cav around someone. His cav will go through you. It doesn't even have to fight the other cav. It'll just go around the other cav and start flanking from behind. He has the slipperiest cav you can imagine. It's going to go in between with his general, anything. Wherever it goes, and it's going to wreak havoc on your army, and that is amazing. I don't know how he does it. It's his talent. Maybe he just sort of lets it happen. He doesn't even know what's happening himself. I don't know, but he's doing something right. I don't know what it is, but he's doing something right with this cav where he can flank anyone and anything in a matter of seconds. Like in the second battle of the final round of the tournament, he got all his cav around Friedrich, even though I got him into a line just to battle. I mean, there was a gap there, but for some reason, the gap was there for him. I feel like those gaps are there, and he goes through them, and he takes opportunity, and he wreaks havoc. And then he routs you, and that's how he wins. Weaknesses, I think, when he's focusing so much on his slippery cav, which certainly goes back, and he neglects his infantry. What I notice when I play with him is that sometimes his infantry will rout. Not necessarily that it's being his fault, but also like, well, what if he gets 1 unit around, the other opponent gets 1 unit around and flanks him? He's not there because he's focusing on his cav, wreaking havoc. I think that is something that I've noticed. It's a little trend with him that if something starts going wrong, he can like neglect his infantry. They're in a little bunch sometimes not. I'm not saying this is like oh my god, he can't play like this, but no. It's a little thing that sometimes he forgets his infantry, and I think that's a fair argument or assumption. There we go, assumption. My assumption. Next player, Paladinbob, the good old Bobby. I love him. He's just so fun to chat to. I love his dashes that he puts in, or hyphens that are supposed to be dashes. It's interesting to talk to him, to say the least, but that's not why he's a good player. Let's see. Common factions: France, Holy Roman Empire, and the Papal States. Let me take a sip here. Strength, he's very well rounded, but I think it's particularly fascinating that he can win without any cav at all. What I mean, like, he takes pikes and maybe some infantry and then a ton of archers, usually as friends, and he wins like that. I haven't faced him directly like that, but I've been in free-for-all battles where he's done that, and he's been the one to face me in the finals. And it's amazing, because he didn't bring any cav, and I'm impressed that he can even do that. I admire him for it, and I think that it's great. I mean, I could never do anything without cav. I'm a cav man, he's the one who can do it without any cav. So I think he deserves some commending for that. And besides that, he's well-rounded. I think he's a little better at sieges than others. That was weird. A belch just came out of me. It tastes like my morning cereal, and it's 2 o'clock. Anyway, let's forget that. Oh my god, that was so weird. Anyway. So he's well-rounded. I think he's better at sieges than others, and that's his strengths. No cav battles he's good at. He amazes me, inspires me. Weaknesses, I think he loses out in some skirmish phases. I've done a few against him, and for some reason, I think he just is unlucky with them, or I think he bunches up his archers more than others, and like he doesn't put them at like when you put archers in a thin line, as thin as they can, they perform better than if they're in loose formation, but in a thicker line, say 3 instead of 2. I think he does that more, and I think just in general the skirmish phase with the weird little like cav clashes that you do, if those extend into that, I think he's not as good as with the skirmish phase as he is for, say, maybe if he has no cav, he's good for the skirmish because then he has a ton of archers. But he's better with like the actual fight. Let's just get in and get it done kind of fighting. I think he does. No, let's not waste time with this little skirmish business. Is his sort of play style. I don't know whether he chooses to say that it is or not. You can comment and tell me I'm wrong, Paladinbob, because I probably am. Okay, Telemnar Numenorean. Oh, we all know him. His common factions: Venice. Bleh, bleh, bleh. Hate Venice. And England, which seem like polar opposites because they kind of are. Seltzer. Okay, strengths. He is probably the best light cavalry user in this game. Stratiots, Allen Light Cav, Border Horse even, or what is it called? Holbers. They're the English Light Cav, and he just sort of does it well. So good for him. He, with that and his light cav, and he brings some heavy cav, and he makes a good combo with it, and he's very tough to beat, especially since he likes to rush with that. So he's a rusher like me, GG, and me and GG. And that's pretty much what he does. Light cav, and he will rout you, and that's what he does. Apparently he doesn't like this thing that he claims is a cav bug, but I say it's not a cav bug. You can tell me I'm wrong, but I think it's exactly as I intended it. And yet he defends the use of Stratiots, so we're completely polar opposite in those two regards, I would say. And his weaknesses, I think he tends to lose like confidence, or like he assumes he's a lot worse at playing than he actually is. And I think sometimes that affects his play style, and he performs less well than he would if he would be like, oh, I'm gonna win this so much. Not saying that he has to be arrogant, but he could probably use some more confidence and probably play better if he had that confidence, I would say. Just to get, again, this is just my speculation with the weaknesses and strength. This is what I perceive of them, and you can tell me I'm wrong. I'm going to keep on repeating that. Friedrich, my noble opponent in the finals of the Clash of Teams. Common factions: Venice and Milan. Generally pike factions, he likes them. He loves his pikes, and, you know, strength, very use of pike armies. He can use pike armies amazingly. I can't use pikes. I don't know how to use them. I don't function with them. They don't function with me. We just don't get along. And that's the thing about us. We just don't get along, me and pikes. Me and Friedrich get along fine. I mean, we've written books on history. It's unbelievable stuff. I've written like 7. Okay, that's an inside joke. I hope I explained that in the Clash of Teams, so you can check that out if you haven't. Anyway, the park armies are good. He saves. So if you're in a low money battle, he will save a ton of money, put it on his cav, put it on his infantry, and he will outclass you because he saves it with his pikes, which then he uses to kill you anyway. I don't know how he does it, and it's his talent, and I'm going to leave him to that because it's good for him. So keep on using your pikes, Friedrich. Let me take a sip here. The weaknesses, I think he likes the slower battles, the slower, balanced battles. Oh, let's shoot our archers first. A little like, let's go step by step through the battle. Let's do this formally, like gentlemen. Kill each other like gentlemen is the general strategy I think he uses. And the general thing is that general strategy I just said. Anyway, what he does, so he has the archers, and then we'll rush the infantry and the cav, and I think he likes to take his battle slowly, a slow torture for his enemies that he kills. He's not, I don't think he likes doing rushes himself, and I think if you can force the battle, either balanced or a rush, to become fast-paced, which a rush would have to be fast-paced, but definitely a fast-paced balance. Those are interesting matches when you do archers. Okay, let's send one cav up, sort of harass them. I think that's not quite his style, where you introduce a lot of things quickly. I think he's more of a slow, tactical player. It's his kind of mantra in the game. And I think that can serve him as a weakness in some cases. The Iron Price. We all know Iron. He's a little out there. Let's put it out there that he's a little out there. Yeah. Okay. Common factions: Holy Roman Empire, Sicily, and the Papal States. He wanted me to put an intro thing of the Pope, and he also wanted me to devote an entire video to him, which is probably sarcasm, but you can never be so sure. But strengths, I think he's a very bold player. He likes to just go with it, do whatever he wants. Sort of like a captain, but he just goes out there in a whole different manner than captain would ever do. Captain goes with what his gut feeling. Iron just does whatever entertains him. They're slightly different, I would say. And Iron's pretty skilled at balanced armies. He knows the general gist of using a balanced army, I would say. It's not that hard of a concept, but he's mastered it, I would say. And on the contrary of the balanced armies, I think his weakness... Oh, that's a phone call. I will be back in a second, my friends. And I'm back. I'm not sure where I left off. It's been a while since I originally was recording this. Iron, I think I just started going to the weaknesses, which is that he's rather poor at rushing. And I don't think he will acknowledge this, but it doesn't seem to have worked to him. It failed him twice in the tournament against Team VOD, yet it worked for us. And he's played me a few times now, and he's rushed me, and each time it hasn't worked for him either. So I don't think that is his skill, to say the least. Iron, stick to your balanced armies, I would say. It's not his thing, I would say. Why am I saying I would say it so much? It's just not his thing. And rushing is for some people, rushing is not for others, and rushing is not for him. It's just bad luck for him, I think. It's not that he can't do it, it's just that it's bad luck. It doesn't work for him. It doesn't click with him. It's not his thing. It's not how he shall win the games. I don't know, I'm repeating so many things. Let's just go to the next person. Lavernicus. I never knew how to say his name. He likes to play as England and Spain, mainly because he's an excellent siege player, particularly at the defense. He likes to use his Modars, line them up, get his longbows, and wreak havoc on anyone who's coming into the fortress that he set up. Particularly the Southern European one, because it's the hardest one to take, just to complement his amazing siege abilities. So if you're facing him and he's on defense, or attack probably, you'll probably have a tough time facing him. So look out for him when he's sieging, or being sieged. I think on field battles he's more average, lesser to some people, but he's still pretty good at the pitch battles. Weaknesses, yeah, not as good as pitch battles as you would see as in, say, Friedrich or Iron. They're more pitch battle type players. Paladinbob. I would say myself, I'm not that good at sieges either. And I pitch, I don't siege. You can tell that from my channel. I don't think I've uploaded any sieges that I've done myself. I think I did one subscribers replay of a siege, so... Unless you count the Mott and Bailey siege, where we barely even went into the castle. Because we fought most of the battle outside, so that's just the thing. And yeah, everyone else, I still love you. XD, which is some sort of face. And I can't put everyone, and please don't hate me. But just a general thing, if you want to be here, I'm sorry if you couldn't. I went through these players because I know them decently enough to go through them. There's other players that I know well that I just didn't put because, I don't know, I can't put everyone. I chose 10, this has been like 25 minutes already. So, I apologize if you want to be here. If you really want me to analyze you, you can ask me and I'll tell you exactly what I think of you. But don't hate me when I do. And if you were here on the top 10 list and you're not happy with what I said about you, I'm sorry. You can tell me that I'm wrong, because I probably was, because this is just my analysis. I don't want to offend anyone or anything. So, but other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed watching. I hope you comment, talk about the players, talk about anything really. Just hopefully it pertains to the video, because that would make sense. And I hope you like, comment, subscribe, because I think this is pretty interesting. Maybe just for me. Maybe I'll be the only watcher, because I watch my own videos, but I actually don't. Don't think I do that. That'd be weird. I'll see you all in the next episode. Goodbye.